One of the great traditions in all of tennis is this walk. The defending champion coming out on center court for day one, and not too many worn spots on that grass court. There comes Falla of Colombia. What a moment for him. And Roger Federer's parents, they've seen their son win this title 6 times. And all the tennis world wondering if he can do it for a 7th time and tie the great Pete Sampras in that department. His wife Mirka looking on.
No sports coat, just a cable knit sweater.
He's got the nice sweater. I wonder where he's got the 6. Usually he has something with all the Wimbledon titles on his shoe or on his bag. He's just like home, he says.
You know, I actually thought last year when he came out with a jacket after he beat Roddick with the number on it, I think that turned quite a few people off. I've heard a lot of just tennis fans comment on that, and I think it's probably been noticed. You know, Roger takes everything in.
So we'll get for Mr. Federer, and we send it upstairs to our maestro, the master Dick Enberg, who's alongside Darren Cahill.
Well, it's a thrill, Patrick, to be back at famed center court, these hallowed lawns that have so much history, and there's where Roger Federer continues his march. He looks for his 7th Wimbledon title to tie Pete Sampras, and his 17th to build even all the more his great record in this game.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
He is, and it gives you shivers. It's a very modest walkout. The champion by tradition at 1 o'clock, first to play on center court. You've had a chance to play on this surface.
Yeah, a long time ago, but it was an incredible walkout there as well. And as a young Australian sitting up and watching Wimbledon late at night, the thing to me that really stood out was how small and enclosed the old court was. And you get that feeling of tradition and history and goosebumps, just the hairs stand up on your arms as you walk through those gates out onto center court. And it's the greatest stage in tennis. There's no question about it.
Now, the left-hander for Colombia, Falla, has played Federer 4 times, has not taken a set off him. 11 sets. He's only broken him once.
No, only broken him once. That was at the French Open, but the last time they played here at Wimbledon was 2004, a 2nd round match and a pretty comfortable match for Roger Federer. And this is when Roger was really on fire and finding his game, changed his game pretty much from a serve volley type of game to a guy who started to stay back on 1st and 2nd serves and really decided to come in on his terms on punishing ground strokes. And Federer throughout this period was just about unbeatable on grass. Beautiful defensive skills again, and running through this match very comfortably. The interesting thing across in Paris was 2 things, Dick. He's just had a lot of trouble getting into the Federer service games. He did break serve at 5-all in the first set. It was the comfortable win in straight sets. 5-all in the first set. He broke serve. But the thing that really stood out in that match is that he was on Federer's serve. It was like he actually knew where Federer was serving in the first set. We'll pay attention to that here in this match.
As you see, Federer has dominated their meeting prior to this 2010 opening round. Center court now, of course, they're for the 2nd year. We have the cover in case we do have inclement weather, but it's a beautiful day and they promise a great first week. Temperature in the low 70s today as you look at the infinity profile. Roger Federer, the mighty Swiss, ranked 2nd but seeded 1st. The Wimbledon committee as the defending champion, putting him in that top spot, and Rafael Nadal as the 2nd seed, although Nadal is now ranked #1 in the world. 51-5. That'll get some championships, won't it?
Absolutely. You're talking about the weather there also, Dick. That's really going to help the clay courters and the baseline players. The fact that the sun is going to be out, because these courts are already a little bit harder than what they were 10 or 15 years ago, playing more like a hard court, and the ball is bouncing up. And that's why we're seeing a lot of baseline tennis on grass these days. You don't get that lush, slick surface that there used to be 15 or 20 years ago.
A rousing hand for both competitors, but primarily for the king himself. Very popular here as he is around the world. Won't be 29 until August, and Federer serves to open the opening round of Wimbledon. He seeks his 200th Wimbledon win in these championships today. Well, he comes out all business.
And probably a slightly different feeling for Federer coming into this year's event compared to last year's event. Remembering he won the French Open last year, completing the Grand Slam, and he was really riding a wave. And was extremely relaxed. Rafa was not in the draw. It was wide open for him, but I get the feeling that Roger's really looking forward to this year's event because of the fact that Rafa's healthy, he's playing great tennis, and he wants to really try and improve that head-to-head record against Nadal. At the moment, it's 7-14.
To Nadal, yeah.
14-15.
Federer, of course, opening the major season with his victory in the Australian Open for his 16th major title, but in the 7 tournaments since, he has not won. For him, that's a slump, although he made it to the finals twice, including at Falla on grass a couple of weeks ago, losing, and it was a shocker with Leighton Hewitt managing a very important win on grass for him, and that promises that the veteran Hewitt might have an interesting Wimbledon.
Snap that 15-match losing streak.
Yeah, Federer.
Here's a look at the section in which the champion begins.
Yeah, this is a pretty good section for Roger Federer in the early stages as well. A lot of clay court players there. Tommy Robredo, the number 30 seed, the first seeded player he comes up against, possibly in the 3rd round. Feliciano Lopez, the dangerous left-handed player that we saw take the first set against Jesse Levine, but Federer would be very disappointed if he does not come through that section.
So the first look at Alejandro Falla. Falla, in his native language, means fault.
Oh, that's not good.
Not a good sign.
That's a shot that he hit really well in Paris. You know, being a lefty, that he can get the forehand across to Federer's backhand, but it was the backhand cross court that Falla hit to Federer's forehand that won him a lot of points, especially early in the first set in Paris.
It's Falla's 6th trip to the All England Club. He's 3-5. Played a lot of challenger tennis on the major tour. He's 9-9 for the year. Voice of Lars Graf from Sweden in the chair. From Colombia, they'll be playing the United States after the U.S. Open and Davis Cup, and he's a prime player for them. Has a great record. 7-11 on grass for Falla. Second round 3 times the best here at Wimbledon. Made it to the 3rd at the Australian Open earlier this year. That's his best Grand Slam effort. Some of the magic of Federer.
Dick, you were speaking about the record of Alejandro Falla in Davis Cup. It's 18 wins, 2 losses. That's a fairly impressive record.
Solid volley winner from Federer, 40-30. And Falla has his first game, 1-all.
1 game all, first set.
Which was more of a surprise, Federer's loss at the French Open or Switzerland beating Spain in the World Cup? And of course they're playing in a couple of hours, Switzerland and Chile. So Federer might be in a hurry to get off court and be able to cheer for the Swiss.
And Chile made a pretty good start, winning their opening game, I believe. That's correct. And Fernando Gonzalez, who's not playing in this Wimbledon Championships. He's down there in South Africa supporting the Chilean team.
Federer was asked by the Swiss coach to give a little pep talk before they headed to South Africa. I would imagine he had full attention of those footballers.
Absolutely. Early stages here in the opening set, but some good signs for Alejandro Falla, who's getting into a lot of these points on the Federer serve. Very similar to what he was doing in Paris, where he was reading the first serve very well.
(40-15).
Federer. Let's go to Mary. All right, thank you, Mary. So the number 8 seed Kleisters is through to the second round. Part of the intrigue of this Wimbledon, the two Belgians who have been missing, Justine and Kim Kleisters, to see what kind of footprint they place into these championships.
Well, only one of them can get through to a quarterfinal. They're in the same section of the draw.
Alejandro Falla serving at 1-2.
(15-0).
Only 2 times in the Open era has the defending champion fallen in the first round.
Well, I know one of them. Leighton Hewitt lost to Ivo Karlovic. Who was the other one? Great hit.
Well, we have to go back for that.
30-0.
You got to be careful if you use the slice that you don't sit the ball up, and especially if you hit it to Federer's forehand, because he's going to make you pay.
30-15.
Yeah, that match that Hewitt lost to Karlovic was a real shock to everybody, because Karlovic was pretty much unheard of and had this huge serve. And actually, Hewitt got off to a great start. He won the opening set. He had chances for a break early in the second set, and Karlovic just found his rhythm and blew Hewitt off the court in a huge surprise. It's the first round in 2003. Chance. Well,
that's an overrule.
Federer challenging the call on the right baseline. The ball was goal kick.
So Falla thought that he saw that titanium paste pop off the baseline. We'll have our first review. He was right.
Play left. Federer has 2 challenges remaining.
No, it was Federer who had challenged then.
Yeah, there was a quick overrule from the linesperson correcting the call. Then Federer challenged the linesperson.
Like a couple of boxers punching away, jabbing. And of course Federer having the final hit so often. First break point.
Really has been his main strength the last couple of times we've seen Alejandro play, is this backhand cross court. He hits it on a dime. He's got beautiful direction with that shot. Not scared to take it to the Federer forehand. That's too good.
Advantage, Federer.
You know, he was commenting on how he felt he's improved since winning his first Wimbledon title, and that's one area, the backhand. Good serve, wipes away a second break point.
The one thing that's probably stayed with him in the last few years is his conversion on break points, which has not been good. It's the one area of Federer's game that if he could just push the percentages up a little bit, he would break serve a lot more often. And it's what he struggles with against Rafa. When he plays Nadal, Nadal automatically, when he gets down, goes more offensive. And Roger can't get away with just putting the ball into court. He's got to take the opportunity to be aggressive on the return of serve.
Well played by Falla. A good save. It's 2-all. It's the opening round, the first match here on famed center court of the 2010 championships at the All England Lawn Tennis Club. Dick Enberg with Darren Cahill, famed arena. And defending champion Roger Federer seeks his 7th Wimbledon title to tie Pete Sampras in the modern era. And he seeks to advance even farther in the all-time list of Grand Slam singles titles as he seeks his 17th.
Left for service.
Federer and Nadal 1 and 2. Seeded as Nadal's 1 in the ranking.
Got a question for you, Dick. Do you agree with the formula the Wimbledon committee uses here to change the seedings?
15-11.
The principle of it.
Well, I think it reflects back on a time where grass play was so different from the other 3 majors. But Wimbledon now isn't so unique, other than you're playing on grass. They've made it a game that is not so quick, and hardly see any serve and volleys. Everyone's saying that sometimes the play here is almost as slow as on the clay at Paris, where they've quickened the pace. So maybe they should go with the world rankings, which they do in most of the major tournaments.
No, I agree with that. I agree that the committee should either use its discretion and sit down and not work to any particular formula, or go with the rankings, because the fact they changed Nadal and Federer, to me, it doesn't make any difference because the 1 and 2 seed. But the principle of it, Rafa deserves that #1 ranking, because the last time he played here, he was the champion.
That's right. In essence, we have 2 reigning champions: Nadal from 2008, Federer 2009. Up on Henman Hill, fans settling in for their midsummer picnic of tennis as the Brits embrace this, their lawn tennis championship event. 124th Wimbledon. Alejandro, Falla, and Federer at center court. And Federer putting on pressure. Earns the first point here at 2-3.
Love 18.
That was a typical grass court rally of the last 5 years where Federer comes over every single backhand. If these courts were playing more slippery and more lush, you'd definitely see Federer slicing the backhand more often. That ball is sitting up like a hard court.
And we're now into the 6th game, and we haven't seen even a slip of any kind, where normally by this time a player would be down. Oh, knifing that backhand volley. Love 30.
Love 13.
Yeah, closes really well on the backhand volley, pushes forward.
Oh, there's a slight slip. He's always in such magnificent balance.
15-30.
There's a skid, but look at, he's got his weight underneath him, able to hold his, almost like a skier, maintaining his balance before the next turn. Falla. Little sneak attack.
Yeah, he got a little bit lucky there because he could have done a lot more with that volley, and Federer had a look at the forehand pass, but I like that play from Alejandro. Delayed his move to the net when he saw Federer was going to go for the slice backhand and then pushed forward really quickly.
Falla growing up, following Wimbledon on television, and
Challenging the serve.
Falla,
Left side, the ball was called out.
Falla thought he had that ball in as he grew up, idolizing two great champions here, Boris Becker and Pete Sampras.
And Federer got a racket on that return, so they replay the point.
2-3, 30 all.
Great reply.
40-30. Game, Falla.
Well, Falla managing to stay with the champion, 3-all in this opening set.
Yeah, that's got to do his confidence the world of good. Down break point in the previous service game and then fighting back from love 30 in that service game and hanging on here in the opening set. Looking to take a few chances here on this return game.
We left open-ended along with Leighton Hewitt, a champion, losing in the first round. The other was Manola Santana in 1967. American Charles Passerelle defeated
Charlie. I saw Charlie last night in a restaurant in the city.
Still very active in the tennis world of Indian Wells.
30 love.
I actually think he's just been on a big golfing holiday with our fellow commentator Cliff Drysdale, and apparently Cliff took all the money.
He's sure smiling a lot.
That's the rumor. He's been smiling a lot, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Unusually so.
He doesn't care about the money. He just likes to rub it in.
The principle.
Yeah. Quite a return.
40-15.
Down 40 love, just went for it. But an easy service game for Federer. They're on serve. No breaks here in the opening set, 4-3.
Federer leads 4 games.
Possible surprise brewing over at court 1.
Also using a new racket, the Dunlop racket coming from the Prince racket is Davydenko, so that's going to take some time for him to get used to that.
You can follow all the action around Wimbledon on ESPN3.com.
Oh! 30 love.
Surprised on this stage with a record, the fact that he's broken Federer only once. He's lost every set played in 4 matches, that he's holding his own in this opening set.
No, this guy, he's a veteran, he's a fighter, and he's certainly, being a lefty, causes Federer a few more problems than normal.
Oh, hitting the lines,
yeah,
isn't
he's
he?
Really sticking to the same game plan he did in the opening set in Paris, and that's not being scared to take Federer wide to his forehand and stretch into that side. And then if Federer leaves anything short, then he can hit the next ball to Federer's backhand, and most importantly, he's been sneaking in. Just like that.
Holds that love for 4-all.
Mixing his game up well, this Falla.
Center court patrons, 15,000 strong, all individual seats since the remodeling. He first arrived here in '79. There were about 1,500 standing room down on each side of the court. Now replaced by the individual seats. It was a dangerous time, and I recall so often in the hot sun, you fainted, but you couldn't fall because you were wedged in with all the other fans. So a run of points for the server. And just as Falla had an easy game in the last, so it is for Federer quickly to 40 love. He too holds it love. We work our way toward a possible tiebreak. It's 5-4.
Section there. Francesca Schiavone might be the big seed that's knocked out of that section. She's been struggling in her practice sessions leading into this tournament, but she's still riding that wave of that French Open win.
Meanwhile, Alejandro Falla continues to serve well against the reigning champion. It's 30 love here at 4-5. Off the net cord for another winner.
Serve is really dominating at the moment. Only 1 point from the last 19 has gone against the server.
Now that's more by tradition of grass play, isn't it? He is so good at the net, and yet he has been more and more reluctant to come forward as the years have passed, especially here.
Yeah, I think mostly because of the nature of player that he's playing against. There's a couple of reasons for that. I think technology has also limited him to come in on his terms more often. Players are getting more spin on the ball, and they get that ball down a little lower quicker.
It's 5-all.
5 games all, first set.
A murmur through the fans here at center court. Somewhat surprised at how well Falla has gone toe-to-toe with Federer, playing dead even.
He needs Roger's first serve percentage to drop off a little. He's serving at 79% of first serves in.
Wait, please.
Oh.
First service.
One of the ball kids was not quite in position. Caught Federer in mid serve, so first serve. Called by umpire Groff. With 2 Fs.
Left. Second service.
Unlike the Steffi version.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, Steffi and Andre are over here in London at the minute. I think they might be coming out to the courts tomorrow.
Oh, good. Oh, first double fold of this opening set, and it's Federer. A rare point for Falla. Only the 50s won off Federer's serve in the entire set.
Oh, not enough.
Oh, a big point by Falla. He has a love 30 lead.
Just not enough on that first approach shot there from Federer, and really sat right in the hitting slot for Falla to make that first passing shot, and makes no mistake with the second attempt.
$15-30.
Ball is long, and here's Falla with 2 break points, his first of the match. Oh, he gave Falla a chance.
30-14.
Another chance to break and take a 6-5 lead. It's good. Falla has broken. Takes a 6-5 lead. Oh, my.
Pick.
Time.
The 26-year-old, number 65 in the world from Cali, Colombia, Alejandro Falla, with a break of Federer's service, and now serves for the opening set, 6-5. Reminiscent of what you saw over in Paris.
Exactly the same scoreline, breaking serve at 5 games all. But then played a bad game to try and hold serve and win that set. No, it's too bad, but a well-played point from Federer. I like the fact that Alejandro keeps attacking and putting the pressure on Federer, and he probably could have done a better job with that first volley, but a smart lob, putting that over the backhand side of Falla.
Wait, please. Take ball.
Some wonderful hitting from both ends, but Falla misses the volley. Love 30.
Love 30.
When the pressure's on, Roger goes back to using that slice backhand more often, making that ball uncomfortable and difficult to deal with for Falla. Doesn't want to come into net on those terms.
Goes for the full-blooded
15-30.
backhand stroke and drives it long. 15-30. Certainly been, as you might say, of any fight cleanly played thus far. Rare error. And a unfortunate mishit. 30 all. So Falla 2 points from the set. $15 errors for each man.
Well, he's being courageous and certainly being rewarded. Smart first serve, breaking 122 mile per hour first serve down the middle. He gets on top of the point, and he has the courage to keep coming forward.
He's earned set point. Coach Marcos Goris. Takes the opening set. 7 games to 5.
Well, that is not a typo, ladies and gentlemen. Roger Federer, for the first time since 2002, has dropped the opening set in the opening round. And that was against Mario Ancic. By the way, Federer went on to lose that match against Ancic, and now he's dropped the first set against Alejandro Falla. A guy coming in had not been able to take a set off Federer. What was he able to do in that opening set, BG?
Well, you know what? Falla got really aggressive on the second serve returns. When Fed was giving him a look at the second serves, Falla was taking some whacks at it, and I really think the match changed early on. 1-2, Fed's got a couple of break points. You think he's going to break, come good, and I tell you, that was a big hole for the confidence of Falla. And this time when he got the 6-5 lead, unlike the French, you know, he held his nerve and hit a couple of great volleys. But to me, I'm very surprised that how he is attacking Fed's second serve.
No, he's really going after it. And of course, it's extremely rare that a top seed, a defending champ especially, goes out early, even just in the first week. You go back to Boris Becker in '87. Remember, he won that title, and the following year lost in the second round. Jim Courier got to the third round. Courier never won Wimbledon, but he did get to the final one year. Leighton Hewitt in 2003. Remember, he
lost to Dr. Evo. That was the first we ever saw Dr. Evo.
Absolutely.
I thought there would be upsets, but not the Fed, you know, on day one.
Definitely.
Davydenko is in trouble as well.
Yeah, that is not as big of a surprise as this one. So we'll go back inside to Dick and Darren. Guys?
All right, Patrick. Second set underway, and Federer with the ace, 30-15. His fourth ace. Talk about last year's final. Well done by Falla. Federer was asked what he remembers about that final with Roddick. Said, well, the backhand that he missed, I remember. My saving break points in the fifth set, I remember. And my 50 aces, his best ever.
Yeah.
And right on cue, his fifth ace. Not good enough. Federer holds to open the second set.
Yeah, really good opening set. Yeah, from both players. Numbers are good. First serve percentage from Roger Federer, and he got off and had the early chances. Had a couple of break points there and was really aggressive off the forehand side. But full credit has to go to Falla for hanging in there and holding his serve. And when he got the opportunity, came up with a couple of great passing shots there, holding that forehand so Federer commits himself, and then the break point. Falla finally gets it, just like in Paris. He breaks serve at 5-all to go up 6-5. Beautiful volley just inside the line, and then holds his nerve in the next game and takes the opening set 7-5. His best shot so far in the match has been that backhand cross-court, and it served him very well.
Able to dig his way out of love 30 in that 6-5 game to take the set. And now on the service line, love 1.
Part of the reason why Falla is doing so well in his service games is he's taken a lesson from Nadal and really concentrating most of his efforts at the backhand of Federer, especially on the ad side. 94% of those serves sliding wide to the Federer backhand, and Roger in fact has missed a lot of those returns. using the grass to slide the ball away.
Common to see that in the deuce court, but for him to serve it down the middle in that ad court is interesting, isn't it? .30 love. And once again, you see, as has been true in the past, that let court very kind. Most balls will skip over. Serving extraordinarily well.
Absolutely, Dick. He's getting a little more heat on the first serve than I remember him in previous matches. You know, that one was at 123, the serve before at 126. And not only making a lot of those first serves, but getting good direction, hitting that ball close to the line.
Wow. Hold it, love. It's 1-all. A reminder, for more live Wimbledon coverage than any other source, visit ESPN3.com, your online home for Grand Slam tennis.
That's great. You can get all 9 courts on ESPN3.com and uninterrupted action of the Wimbledon Championships. Also get the Aussie rules if you're an Aussie rules follower as well.
Who would be tempted to do that? I can't wait to get over to the new court too, finally under play. We saw Kim Clijsters win there as she baptized the newest arena, 4,000 capacity. It's down in a little bowl. It's a terrific place. And there you see it on the right hand side, and then the new court 3 is the facility over on the left.
15-all.
That will be available, the new court 3, next year. Court 2 in its second year. Falla has shown no hesitation in going after that second serve.
No, I like that play. He hasn't seen too many second serves because Roger's first serve percentage is 74%. But when he's got an opportunity, he's gone at it. It's been really aggressive on the second serve return. That's a little clay court move there from Federer, and he saw Falla go to the slice backhand. He made that backhand down the line hard to get to the Federer backhand, dances around, uses the feet, and opens up the court with the forehand. It's beautiful play. It's won 12 of 14 points when he's come to the net.
Looked as if he wanted to come in and serve and volley there.
Game, Federer.
So they're on serve in the second, 2-1. Alejandro Falla with the opening set, 7 games to 5.
Inside the point here, it's been a big surprise with Alejandro Falla taking the opening set. Part of the reason why he is attacking the second serve, moving forward, not scared to go to the Federer forehand, using that slice backhand beautifully and closing tight to the net and knocking off the volley. It's been very courageous in the opening set.
Falla now at 1-2 is just misfired on a forehand volley. Love 15. Good swinging serve.
15-all.
To get the swing on that first serve, you've got to take a lot of miles per hour off that serve so it breaks away, and that one served at just 100 miles per hour. You hit that first serve too hard,
15,
and you don't get the
30.
curve on the serve.
You know, as you follow the action here, especially at center court, where the demeanor of the fans, the British fans, it's almost church-like in this cathedral of tennis, if you will. .40-30.
40-30.
We're at center court, Wimbledon, with Darren Cahill, Dick Enberg. The opening day of our coverage, 10 hours from the All England Club. Defending champions, 6-time champion Roger Federer losing the opening set to Alejandro Falla of Colombia. And we're in the second set, 1-2. And Falla holds for 2-all.
Wow, that's 3 bad backhands from Roger Federer.
And still to come on our long day of great tennis. The world's best here vying for this coveted crown. Andy Roddick, who went to the finals a year ago against the American Rajiv Ram. Venus Williams, 5 times a champion here. And Justine Ennis seeking this coveted title, the one that she has not won on the Grand Slam circuit. All ahead today here on ESPN. Clever.
Tell you what, Dick, we look at Alejandro Falla and he's jumping around. He really looks to be enjoying himself. I'm sure all the nerves he had in the early stages of this match, and it is a difficult assignment to come onto this court to play Federer. I'm sure they have gone. He looks extremely relaxed. This is a dangerous period for Federer because he's really got a sniff here at the moment. I'm sure the nerves, if he can win this set, the nerves will kick back in if he can sense the finish line. But right at the minute, Falla is playing some great tennis.
That was Federer's 6th ace.
It's the first little come on from Federer. I'm sure he senses this is a really important stage of this match.
Number 7. Well, Federer had only one chance to break Falla. Had a couple of break points in the 4th game of the match. Couldn't convert. And then finally it was Falla with the 2 chances and broke Federer at 5-all 30-40 and took the set 7-5. So it's very evenly played, but the underdog from Colombia, Falla, in the lead. And they're on serve in the second set, 3-2. Wimbledon with baseball on ESPN Monday and Wednesday night. First on ESPN's Monday Night Baseball, 10 Eastern. It's the Yankees and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Then the Tigers face the Mets on ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern. Both games part of the AL-NL Showdown presented by State Farm and available on ESPN3.com.
How come your team doesn't make that promo?
Well, the Padres are in first place. I don't understand. I guess they're going to probably save it so they can play maybe a whole week of Padres.
There you go.
Action. A challenge on the baseline. Look at this. Falla has won all the challenges. Of course, that never has been Federer's strength. Doesn't like the system.
$15.
That's a problem when you come in with a topspin forehand and that ball sits up. Your opposition's got a lot of time to make that passing shot, and especially if you're coming in cross court. It's a fairly easy passing shot from Falla. Federer doesn't have much court covered when he comes in on that shot.
Now the net cord helping Federer, 30-all.
30-all.
Get a sense in this game that Federer's footwork's been a little bit better, and he's looking to get around and hit a few more forehands and trying to make his move.
Well, in about an hour, it'll be Federer's country team, Switzerland against Chile. The Swiss with that big upset of Spain, 1-0. Said, I didn't rub it in to Rafa Nadal. I'm just happy that my country won. Boy, Falla is on fire.
Beautiful direction with that swinging serve out to the backhand, causing Roger all sorts of problems.
He knows now he's in a real fight with this Colombian. Down a set, 3-all here in the second. And Spain plays today as well, 2:30 Eastern against Honduras.
Oh,
Great shot. Hitting with Federer.
Yep, no panic from the baseline at the moment. And Federer's not getting ahead in these baseline rallies. Falla looks very comfortable.
You keep expecting that he might go off and commit some unforced errors, but he's hitting right with the champion.
And a chance here at a second serve.
Love 13.
And an opening for Falla here at 3-all.
That's a sense of panic. He's really moving through that forehand, and his forehand's best when he skips up, takes his time, settles, and then executes the shot. And at the moment, he's running through a lot of those forehands, and that's when he starts making errors. Better forehand. Sets, props, takes the racket back nice and early, and executes the shot.
Continues Falla to hit with confidence off that backhand wing. He's got 2 break points here at 3-all.
What's going on here, Dick? This is the first day of Wimbledon, and the people here are supposed to be enjoying a nice cup of tea, just nestling into a #1 seed, having an easy result on the first day. A couple of break points.
Roger's wife, Mirka, not showing her nervousness.
Oh. Falla up a set, up a break. What is brewing at center court?
Andy Roddick pleasing some young fans with an autograph. His action coming up on court 1. shortly. As we move back into center court, where Alejandro Falla of Colombia.
We've got a challenge here as well, Dick. Federer made a return a serve that may or may not have clipped the baseline, and a challenge has come from Falla. So this was called good. He challenged it, and the ball was good. So a small chance here for Federer at love 15.
Falla has 2 challenges remaining.
2 more challenges in this set. Unless it goes to a tiebreak, then he picks up another. Unwilting play from the left-hander from Colombia, leading 4-3 up a set.
Just a beautiful passing shot from Falla, because there was nothing wrong with the approach shot from Federer. Takes it up the line, hits it beautifully, moves forward quickly, and Falla's got to hit that passing shot on a postage stamp. Great shot. Look how far back he is behind the baseline.
Hooks it cross court for 15 all. Unforced errors now, not forced errors, but unforced errors. Very clean. Falla's committed only 8. Federer with 11. Goodness.
And a lot of those coming from the backhand side. Also, Federer has been disastrous in these baseline points. He's only won 16 of 47. And in the second set, he's only won 5 of 11 points when he's come to the net. So the stats falling away for Federer.
Falla, a couple of points for a 5-3 lead. There's the Roger Federer of 6 Wimbledon titles.
40-30.
Great defense by Federer. And the error from Falla. 2:15 in the afternoon here in London. This match now an hour and 5 minutes old. Falla with a golden chance to go 5-3, now a deuce. He was tempted to come in and then skidded to a stop, and almost feel that Federer felt that or heard it.
Yeah, absolutely right, Dick. He actually bought Federer. Federer would normally play that as a slice backhand, but because he felt like Falla was coming in, he had to change his mind mid-shot, went for the top spin and got the forced error. Smart play from Falla.
Right on the baseline. And the hold by Falla. 5-3 in the second set. Federer having to dig now to stay in this second set or fall 2 sets down.
Can't even imagine what's going through Roger Federer's mind at the moment. No way would he have ever expected to be in this position on the first day at Wimbledon against a guy that he's owned.
A man who's never won a tour title. Compared to the 62, 16 of the majors for Federer. Talk about a long shot. Since winning Wimbledon, however, those that have succumbed to Federer's prowess in the past have been able to come up with victories. Del Potro was 0-6. Berdych was 0-8. Bagdatis was 0-6. Davydenko 0-12.
Hewitt. 15-match losing streak to Federer.
And Soderling 0-12. So all of those players have been able to manage their first win against Federer since last year's Wimbledon. It's not just making those individuals feel good, but that ripples throughout tennis. Vulnerability.
No question.
He can be beaten. Little anger in that serve.
40-11.
On the sideline, you saw the bad bounce, and Federer holding it love. When we come back, Alejandro Falla will be serving for a 2-set. Reigning champion Roger Federer facing a critical 5-4 game. His opponent showing no indication on tour that he was up to this kind of high-level tennis on such a major stage. The only indication is Davis Cup play, where he's 18-2 in singles. He serves for a 2-set lead against the champ. Showing no respect for royalty at all thus far.
Smart, a little shot there from Federer, just bringing Fire inside the baseline, making that backhand slice a little more uncomfortable. He's got to come up with a few variations because he's not getting the better of these baseline rallies.
Fire much steadier on that full-fledged backhand. He's rarely missed. Same play, huh? And there's when he really gets a good crack at it.
15-all.
3 points from a 2-set lead.
Left versus. Left.
Doors ajar.
30.
Falla's coach, Marcos Coriz. What a serve. It caught the sideline.
That's been his go-to serve the entire match.
30-all.
Too much time to think.
I cannot believe he didn't take that in the air. That was a regulation smash that bounced just behind the service line. You've got to smash that ball. You do not let that drop on the grass. It's a sure sign of a few nerves. And Federer's got to protect this wide swinging serve here. Give him the one down the middle.
Break point, Federer. Mother and father, Roger Federer, Robert and Lynette. You know, he's Swiss, she South African. with that, Falla set point for a 2-set advantage.
Advantage, Falla.
Oh my, what a shot. Have we seen that before under pressure? Through a pinhole.
Cheers.
Talk about the right stuff. But Falla, unwilting, earns another set point.
And beautiful reply from Falla. Some great variations serving to the deuce side. And continues to go wide on this side.
What a shot again by Federer. Pinning Falla deep to save a second set point. Champion on the ropes, fighting his way back, trying to get to 5-all. Uncharacteristic error from Federer at such a crucial point, as we're more than 6 minutes into this game, the longest of the match. Third set point, Falla.
Cheers.
Cleverly takes all the speed out of that slice backhand. Three set points gone. Yeah, the crowd cheering down to the baseline, but that shot from Falla's end was long. And Federer now with his second break point in this game. Falla has had 3 set points. Now that was teed up for him.
Yeah, it goes back to the trusted and reliable play of serving to the backhand and getting that first short ball and hammering the backhand cross court.
It's the 5th deuce.
And 18 minutes into this match, and already incredible tension down on center court.
Fourth chance. Falla for a 2-set lead. Oh my, what do we have brewing on this famed center court? The champion down 2 sets. Can he get back off the ropes and rally? Yeah. Oh, wow. What a job by Alejandro Falla. Patrick?
All right, thank you, Dick. Absolutely unbelievable. You see Falla actually going to his leg a little bit there in the changeover, so maybe calling for the trainer to come out. And Roger Federer probably down 2-0 here, and this certainly would have to go down as one of the biggest, if not the biggest, upset in Wimbledon history. Patrick McEnroe here alongside Brad Gilbert. We're just stunned here watching that 2-set lead for Falla the way it happened. Federer having chances to get back on serve, and really, to me, Brad, looked like he got pretty tight trying to get back to that 2-5 all.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And to me, it's been how calm Falla has been. He's been so relaxed, and he hasn't done any fist pumping. He hasn't been odd, and when he's had his chances, he's taken them. But I'm absolutely stunned that if Falla 2-0 up, I'm not feeling anything. Don't call for the trainer. Don't all of a sudden let your opponent know there could be something wrong. You know, that could be something that Fed could sense and maybe turn this thing around, because before he calls for this trainer, I was thinking, you know what? This might not be Fed's day, but this will put definitely a little pep in Fed's step, knowing that the guy's calling for the trainer. Very unusual.
Well, a couple of things for you, everybody. Federer's come back from 2-0 down 5 times in his career. Of course, it's never happened to him at Wimbledon. He's never been in a hole at Wimbledon. Go back to Steffi Graf. Remember that in 1994, going out in the opening round.
Yeah, she lost to Laurie McNeil, who was a
good
grass court
player.
Here comes the ATP trainer. This is very surprising for a guy up 2-0, so he actually must be feeling something to call for the trainer. It looks like he's worked the upper thigh area.
And maybe the groin with all that changing of direction and slipping. We've seen Federer slip a couple of times on grass. Sometimes that's an area where you can tweak something. Now remember, Falla coming in had lost to Federer the last 2 times they'd played at the French Open and then on the grass at Halle. And incredibly up 2-0. You know, when Pete Sampras lost, Brad, to George Bastel back in 2002, but that was Sampras sort of at the tail end of his career. Wasn't the dominating player that Federer is and has been at Wimbledon, at least right now. Sampras was at the tail end of his career.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And I remember that too. They played that on the graveyard court. Yeah, hopefully he's just calling off the trainer and say, you know what, that was my bad. You should have come out. Let me go back to playing what I'm doing.
That was Michael Novotny, who's one of the tour trainers for the men's tour, and obviously here.
Take a couple of Advil and get on with it. You're hot, and don't freeze the shooter.
You don't want to feel anything at this point, do you? But incredibly, Falla was able to take it to Federer, Brad, a little bit, and you were picking up something early in that second set that he was able to do successfully.
Yeah, I really felt like the difference in this match is when Falla has had looks at the Federer second serve, he's being really aggressive, getting the point started in his favor and getting Fed on defense. And then forcing Fed. Once again, here's another second serve. Look where Falla is, inside the baseline. That's a good crack. Takes control of the point and gets Fed on the stretch. That's been the difference in this match to me so far, is how Falla has gotten up on the plate and taken big hits on the second serve. Fed's second serve doesn't have as much stick on it today.
Well, Federer starting the proceedings here in the third set. We'll send it back inside. We're stunned down here, guys. Back to Dick and Darren.
Yeah, flabbergasted is right. And very cleanly played. Falla with all the pressure, or maybe no pressure. I mean, he had everything to gain, nothing to lose going against the champion here at center court. But nevertheless, to play 2 sets against the best in the world, or certainly one of the best in the argument, and maybe one of the best of all time, committing only 11 unforced errors in 2 sets. Federer with 13, so high level of play.
Yeah, he's had a really good read on the Federer serve. That backhand cross-court that Falla has played to the Federer forehand, he hits it with a lot of authority, and Roger's just not as comfortable moving to his right. He's won a lot of points with that particular shot.
Off the sideline as he holds to open the third.
First game, third set.
Any indication from anyone that this was coming, that Falla would play at this level, or that it's not as if Federer's playing poorly.
No, he played a good first set in Paris. where he served for the opening set, but then they played a couple of weeks later in Halle. Roger won that match very comfortably, and this is Roger's surface. This is where he knows that he can get those free points on serve. He's not lost consecutive matches on grass since 2002.
Goodness gracious.
But he's not getting any free points on the serve, even though his first serve percentage is quite high. It's dropping off now, though. Early in the match, he was serving at 80% early in the first set when he's holding serve quite comfortably, but now it's down to 64%. He's only winning 50% of those second serve points.
Goes down the middle. 15 all.
15 all.
Against the man who has more grass court titles in the Open era than anyone. 11 times he's won on grass. Between here and Falla. Sampras won 10 times on grass.
30-15.
And his record here at Wimbledon so near impeccable, looking for his 200th match win here on these grounds. Another ace goes right back down the middle.
Left scissors. Left scissors.
Unbothered by Federer coming forward, he whistles a winner. 1-all.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen so little on Roger Federer's slice backhand. That backhand just looks like it's sitting up. Even in a rally shot and there on an approach off the second serve, it's just past the service line, and that's sitting up for a pretty easy pass for Falla.
Asking the Pulse question, if Falla should pull off the upset, would it be the greatest all time here at Wimbledon? It's saying a lot.
15 love.
Well, so far, 77% of you think it.
No, I would agree with that. Just wide, I believe.
15 all.
Big worry here for Roger also is he's just not making Falla move. It's Falla that's making Federer move in the baseline rallies, and he's the one having to do all the running.
Took a little off the backhand and
30-15.
created the point. 30-15. Less than an hour and a half they've played, and Alejandro Falla with a 2-set lead. 1-all here in the third. Federer knowing he's got to win 3 sets in a row to stay in the championship.
That shot's killing him. You know, it's a combination of two things. Falla's hitting the backhand cross court very well, but Roger is really struggling to move to his right.
There's a come on from Federer. Good return from Falla. Federer had the answer.
Look how far inside the baseline Falla is to return that second serve. It's taking all the time away from Federer to react to it. being really aggressive and not changing his game plan. It's a great job from Falla. Do it again. A little more meat on that second serve and better direction as well, and gets on top of the point straight away.
That's as well played a game for Federer as since early in the match. Mom and Dad more pleased with that effort.
The Championships, Wimbledon 2010, brought to you by Rolex, a crown for every achievement.
Well, the unpredictable here at Wimbledon, the defending champion, 6-time champion Roger Federer in deep trouble. Down 2 sets, 7-5, 6-4 to the long shot from Colombia, Alejandro Falla, who's serving 1-2 here in the third. Double faults.
On the changeover, Falla brought the trainer out again to get a little work on that left leg, like the inner thigh area. Continues to get some treatment, even moving around to the hamstring area. Get the feeling Brad Gilbert wouldn't have called for the trainer being up 2 sets of love on Federer there, Dick. And here's the Falla serve direction, concentrating most of his efforts, especially on the ad side to the backhand, but occasionally mixing it up and getting a lot of benefit from that particular serve, really going after the Federer backhand.
15-30.
Doesn't seem to be worrying him, though, in the movement around the court for Falla.
He's digging out of a love 30 hole as he double faulted to start this game. A few times it appears that Federer's had the opportunity to build momentum. Just hasn't happened for him.
And that's the reason why, Dick. You know, it's not like he's played a really bad match, but those unforced errors have come in bunches, and mostly when he's had an opportunity.
Love 30 lead in this game. Now game point Falla for 2-all. First serve percentage dipping in this game. But 2-all. Well,
2 games all.
fans glued to the big screen out on the hill. I'm sure if we were to see the shot from the other angle into the faces, there'd be a lot of looks of disbelief.
What would this do for the draw, the men's section? The whole men's draw if Roger Federer was knocked out in the first round.
Well, the locals immediately would say it would have to help our own Andy Murray.
He's on the wrong side.
Left.
Well, eventually, though, he has made it to a couple of.
He's got that Spanish guy that he might have to deal with first.
That's right. He has been to a couple of finals only to be denied by Federer in a major. And double fault to start his game. In fact, it's the first time in the history of Wimbledon, 124 times they've played this great lawn tennis event, there's not an Englishman in the draw. Oh, my. Target practice by Falla. Murray Scotsman.
15-30.
Kind of from the coach, not bad, huh?
Mm.
It's an opportune time to throw in an ace.
40-30.
ING shot spot. Clip the line at 100 miles an hour. And
Game
another
Federer.
good serve. 3-2. No breaks here in the third. But Roger Federer trails by 2 sets.
Federer leads 3-2. Third set.
Fish has had some good results of late.
The final of Queens, lost to Sam Querrey in the final. It was a great result for him. Dangerous on the grass.
Falla with the first point here at 2-3, third set. Is it on?
15 all.
No, it's called long. Falla may have challenged. Apparently not. Shot
That
spot.
was
Let's
close
see what
enough
it.
for one.
Yes, it was long. Oh,
right.
Federer moving around.
Yeah, starting to dance around and hit that forehand. And normally when he is in trouble, it's the serve and the forehand that will bail him out of trouble. That's what he relies on. A little bit of positive energy coming from the #1 seed.
Oh, that's brilliant. Holding his ground. Federer trying to force the action. Maybe an error, but Falla hauling up the right stuff again. From Federer, he has a break point. First of this set.
30-40.
Lined that up perfectly, didn't he?
It's the first break point for Roger Federer since the 1-2 game in the opening set.
Falla with the ace.
Cheers. Advantage, fire.
Yeah, this game becoming a microcosm of the match. It appears that Federer has a chance. Door is open, and then a couple of errors again in bunches. And Falla serves it out 3-all.
We're talking about Federer really trying to win this match with the serve and the forehand when things are going badly. Part of the reason why he's missing a lot of the forehands is he's not setting himself. He's working hard to get around and hit the forehands, but you see his feet are all over the place and off balance as he's trying to make that forehand. That's when he mishits a lot of those shots. Hits that forehand much better when he takes a couple of quick steps, sets himself, executes the shots, and then moves forward. Everything's a bit rushed at the moment. And you've got to give a lot of that credit to Alejandro Falla.
All.
Speaking of a possible upset, there might be one on court one as well, with Kevin Anderson taking a 2-set lead over Nikolai Davydenko, the number 7 seed. 6-3, 7-6.
On serve in the third, 2-1.
Federer holds at love. We grow deeper into the third set. The drama unfolding at center court.
Fans to log on to Wimbledon.org. The latest championship scores, news, and exclusive video. And back to center court. This historic site since 1922. Game's best. And so much history made. This could be indelible for Alejandro Falla against Roger Federer. First point won by Falla here at 3-4 on an overhead.
Oh, well, that ball hit the ground before it hit the net. Trying to get himself going here, came out of the change of ends, dancing around and jumping on his toes and trying to find some spark.
Federer saving for a moment with that squash shot forehand.
40 love.
Then fires long for 40 love.
Solid 4-all.
And Dick, the really big worry here for Roger Federer is Falla's up 2 sets and 4-all in the third, and he's not playing out of his mind. He's playing nice controlled tennis, playing the percentages, and he's making Federer come up with great shots to stay in points and games, and Federer's not been able to do it so far. Falla does not need to raise his level. He just needs to keep playing the same type of tennis, and that's a big worry for Roger.
Love 15.
Would he love to see another second serve here?
Don't look up.
Love 13.
Falla is 6 points from defeating the defending champion, 6-time champion Federer.
Oh, wow.
Well, if someone had just walked into center court, didn't know the names of the players, hadn't followed that closely, you said one is the all-time champion Grand Slam play and one has never won a title in his entire career on tour. Whom would you select?
Left versus.
Triple break point, second serve.
It's about the first backhand cross court that Falla has missed in the entire match.
Federer's worked his way out of a lot of big jams in his career. This is one. Can he do it?
That's really a gutsy play from Roger. Down break point, and it's probably a shot he should be using more often, bringing fire into the net. Not on his terms, and comes up with a beautiful backhand pass to save one of those break points.
Third chance for Falla.
Remember that point. That was for a 5-4 lead and a chance to serve out the match. 3 breakpoint save by Federer. He's out of love 40.
Let
Cole's up that shot.
Yeah, head in his hands from Federer again, just putting the ball right back into the slot for Fire. And again, a fairly easy pass, another break point, and Fire has got a radar lock on the Federer serve. It's like he knows where it's going.
Let's please.
Louder come on from Federer as he saved a 4th break point.
Cheers.
That's the kind of shot making that has made him the tennis king. Federer fighting off 4 break points and now has a game point here. It's the opening day of Wimbledon at Thames Center Court, and the 6-time champion, the reigning champion Roger Federer, down 2 sets, has saved 4 break points here at 4-all in the 3rd set, and now holds, and that gives his legion of fans hope as they're on serve 5-4.
That's the way to wake up the crowd. Great performance there from Roger Federer. Pemmy, what have you got for us?
Well, I'll tell you, Darren, out at Henman Hill, it's so exciting. And who plops down beside me but Melanie Uden? You were coming from Arangi, your practice court. You play later today, and something caught your eye, Mr. Federer.
Yes, I can't believe he's down 2 sets to love in his opening match here.
I know you've been practicing some in the last week near Federer, and what did you observe? Because you're such a student of the game, you love to watch matches. What did you see in him?
Well, when we walked by and watched him play some practice sets and stuff, I thought he looked really good out there. I mean, he was playing with the ball well and serving well, and it looked like he was really ready for his first match.
Now, we're showing a graphic that shows Federer coming from 2 sets to love down, but he's never done it here at Wimbledon. We saw you at the U.S. Open on the big court, Arthur Ashe, last year at the U.S. Open, come from 1 set to love down against a handful of big, strong Russians. If you're Falla, obviously, you're such an underdog, but how do you analyze the emotions of this match?
Well, I mean, for me, it was definitely a lot of stuff was going through my head. I mean, at the U.S. Open and here last year, so I'm sure Falla has a lot of stuff in his head right now. He's really just trying to figure out how to close out this match.
Well, Melanie, thanks for taking the time. Good luck later today against Grunefeld of Germany. Dick, back inside to you.
All right, thank you, Pam. Falla serving at 4-5. See what impact Federer comeback in that last game from love 40 will have on Falla.
I like that last play, Dick, as well. Federer's just trying to get around those second serves and hit more forehands. Even though he's not getting it and hitting it really well, at least he's sending a message to Falla that he's looking to attack. Just long. You know, I'd love to see him do it on the ad side as well on the second serve. You can't do it on the first serve, obviously, but that second serve 100% of the time is going to the Federer backhand, so he can take a few more risks and run around and crack a couple of forehands.
Here's one of those chances. (15-30). Federer 2 points
15-30.
from taking this third set. So that list of 5-set wins in majors. It's remindful of the Tommy Haas match a couple of years ago at Roland Garros.
And the chance on a second serve.
Well, that's the way he went after every point from the opening bell. Showing no nerves, that kind of shot making. Going for it. 30-all.
Long.
Mr. Falla challenging the call on the right baseline. The ball was called out.
Well, how big is this review? If it was out, Federer has set point. He does.
(30-40). Falla has 2 challenges remaining. Thank you.
He's going to challenge that call.
Right near side. The ball was called out.
Late in the set, why not? First serve has let him down here the last couple of games.
Second service.
Shot. Oh my. To save set point.
He has been overly brave in this match.
Cheers. Falla has 1 challenge remaining.
Completely decelerated on that one, where he's been so good with his footwork in the match so far. Completely locked up on that one.
Another set point.
The six-time champion still has a pulse. Digs out a love 40 at 4-all on his serve, and now has finally broken Falla. It's 2-1 to the Colombian, and on we go at center court.
Well, the king is still alive at the moment. Roger Federer at set point here. The forehand finds the corner. And the six-time champion and the defending champion still alive. Just about 2 hours of play. And Roger Federer hanging on by an absolute thread. Patrick McEnroe here alongside Brad Gilbert in that 4-all game. We were just absolutely mesmerized by what was going on there. Federer down 4.
I'm scratching my head. Wow.
You lost the rest of the
I don't got any.
4 break points against Federer. Falla would have had a chance to serve for the match, and Federer came up with some brilliant backhands.
You know what? And Falla did the right thing. He ventured forward. He made Fed come up with 2 backhand passing shots. One of them, Falla had his racket on the ball. And I tell you, after having those 4 break points, it is so difficult to come back and serve that game. After a love 40, you know, it's in your head a little bit. Now the next thing, it goes from in your head to in your leg, you know, because Falla's been getting the trainer working on it. And he's obviously got something going on with his leg, because he wouldn't have been getting treatment when you're up 2-0. And a great reaction from Fed, where he kind of yelled and kind of really got his emotions out. Expect Fed now to really try to take this match over.
As you can see, Falla just left the court. He's just coming back onto court now, so he's got plenty more to think about. But I'll tell you, early in that second set and even through the third, he was really controlling the points. Let's take a look at our tennis tracker presented by Fidelity, and he was really able to dictate. You mentioned it, Brad. He was able to attack the second serve, but also really his positioning was excellent throughout that first couple of sets.
Unbelievable that Falla would be the one standing up on the plate and taking it to Fed, and he was cutting down the size of the court. It's usually the other way around, but Falla doing a great job of hugging the baseline. This is a guy in 5 sets against Fed on grass had won 6 games. But the greatest thing about tennis is that's why you lace up the sneakers and you go out there. It's not. This will send a message to the field that, you know what? Fed is still beatable. He's not invincible. I mean, this will be a great fight back, and I'm sure he'll spin it in a positive way. But at least some guys are saying, you know what? Maybe it's possible this can happen again.
Maybe some chinks in the armor. So Federer will look to get off to a quick start in that 4th set, of course. By the way, Marty Fish, we showed you a little bit of his match with Bernard Tomic. This is match point for Fish, top of your screen. Won that second set in a tight breaker, but he ran away with the third set. So Marty Fish moving beautifully. This guy's lost about 20, 25 pounds in the last 6 months. Paying off for Fish, had that finalist appearance at Queens. So Fish moves on to the second round and takes on the winner of Cilic and Meyer. And actually, Cilic, the number 11 seed, dropped the opening set there. So this is an interesting little section. Ljubicic already out, so a real opportunity for Marty.
Upsets all over the grounds.
Well, none bigger than what could have happened late in that third set, but it didn't happen. Will Federer find a way back inside to Dick and Darren?
Boy, that's the question reverberating around these grounds. 15:30 to open the 4th set.
Third yard.
Dropped in.
What a play. Just a little stab lob by Falla for deuce.
Cheers.
Nice touch, huh?
Beautiful. Even that serve there from Federer, 123 miles per hour. That's fairly close to the line. And Falla still has a play on it. He's got a really good read on the Federer serve.
Federer going to challenge or not? Double fault for deuce. Second of this game to open the fourth set. ING shot spot shows that the ball was good. That play has worked for Falla most of the day.
And he's rolling that forehand cross-court beautifully, not only in the baseline rallies, but every time Federer comes to net, Falla's doing a really good job of getting that ball up and over and down below the height of the net. They are not easy volleys for Federer.
Earning an early break point here in the fourth. Good serve.
Yeah, he's got to come up with some great serves at the moment to get these 3 points. It's 125, pretty much on the line down the middle. And still, Falla has a play on the return. He's buying these double faults at the moment because he's being so aggressive on the second serve returns. Federer is pressing.
Falla, playing the match of his career, has broken Federer to take the lead here in the fourth.
He is absolutely controlling all of these points, and it's Federer that's doing most of the running. If we take a look at inside the point, even though Federer ends up winning this point, it's Falla that's controlling the rallies, really dictating play. And Federer's starting to move around the court better. In the first set, he was losing his footing quite a bit and also struggling to move to the forehand side. Keeping the ball in play here again, moving a little better to the forehand side, but Falla is on top of the point. Federer just covering all sorts of court, coming up with some nice imagination when he gets up to the net. Well-played point in that 4-all game in the third set there from Federer, but Falla doing all the controlling.
It.
You know, it's like Rogers playing two guys at the other end of the court. Falla's got everything covered, and Federer can't seem to penetrate through the court. We keep talking about the grass here and the balls being heavy and the court's playing more like a slow hard court surface. Seems that way for Federer, at least.
Put it in perspective, it's playing much slower than US, much slower than Australian Open.
Well, seems to be. And normally in the first few days of Wimbledon, the courts are lush and slippery, and you can get through the court very easily.
Federer almost forced into the position of being a counter puncher. Question here now, Falla, can he consolidate the early break here in the fourth?
that's so difficult for Federer is that he's been locked into that backhand corner, and every time he takes that redirection backhand up the line, Fire is killing him with his backhand cross court.
There were a few doubters when Federer said that he hopes to get off the court in time to see Switzerland play Chile, the World Cup. They're already 20 minutes into that game on ESPN.
And Alejandro Falla
trying to force Federer to make this a very disappointing day.
Produce the unthinkable. Falla with a 2-love lead here in the fourth, leading 2-1.
Falla leads 2 games to love, 4 sets.
Yeah, Roger just about has to really change things up now, because these baseline long extended rallies he's not getting the better of, and Fire's making him move from side to side, and it doesn't seem to matter which side Federer goes to. If he goes to Fire's forehand, then Fire can easily get to the Federer backhand, but if he goes to the Fire backhand, then Fire's killing him with that backhand cross court. So either you bring Fire into the net with that short chip, or you start attacking yourself.
New balls here at Love 2. Opens with a double. What would you, if you could go down and say, all right, I'm your coach, here's what I want you to do?
No, I would start dropping the backhand short inside the service line and making Fire either hit from a low uncomfortable position or attack the net. And then he's not coming in on his terms, and he did that in the 4-all game in the third set. And it was a gutsy play when you're down break point to drop the ball short and bring your opponent into the net. But he did come up with a couple of great backhand passing shots.
13th and 14th aces for Federer.
30-15.
And I'd be telling Roger that if you do get a passing shot, you take that pass to the Fire forehand volley. That's the nervous side. That's a great shot. Boy, that was a pretty good return from Fire, and Federer took that off one step and hammered it cross court. Big point.
And the third ace of the game. 2-1 Falla. Up a break, leading 2-1.
Business. Well, Roger Federer at 28, the measure of excellence in this game. 16 major single titles, most all time. 2 more than Sampras. Semifinalist 23 of 24. That broken at Roland Garros at the French Open, losing to Robin Soderling this year. 18 of the last 20 Wimbledons he's been in the finals. He almost ride him through to late in the second week and right in that champions level. Fighting to stay in this opening round against Alejandro Falla.
Oh, that's pretty.
Got to start doing a little more of that, I'm afraid. It's just not winning those baseline rallies, and he had to come up with a couple of great shots to win that point, but take it to Fire or make the guy come in. And also love to see him run around and crack a few of these forehands off a second serve, even on the ad side. He's not getting ahead in the points with those returns. It's not like he's hitting a bad return, but off a second serve on grass, you want to try to get ahead in the point. And that's what Falla's doing to Federer. He's looking to hit that second serve and get on top of the point.
Again, this man at age 26 from Cali, Colombia, has never won a tour title. Been playing on the Challenger circuit. Turn enough points to get into Wimbledon.
Beauty.
His best ever tour event was in Miami in 07. At the semifinals there, I think. Best ever in a major event to a third round. That was the Australian Open this year.
What a well-played point from Falla from the second serve. Well directed. Federer was looking to run around that second serve, and being a lefty, he's having no problem dropping that forehand short inside the service line, and you can then find the angle to get it to the Federer backhand.
His first serve percentage has been dipping, but even that second serve, he's able to place it right on the sideline. 3-1.
I think we may have a challenge here, Dick, as well. I think Federer has challenged the out call, and he's incorrect.
It is 3-1 for a set. Federer has 2 challenges remaining.
So Federer down 2 sets to 1, serving 1-3.
Left for service.
Roger Federer, 56 matches here at Wimbledon, is 51-5. Oh, made that shot all day.
There's been the big difference on the return of serve, Dick. Beautiful, aggressive return off the second serve from Falla, and he's getting that ball that he wants on the next shot.
That's just superb forehands that he's able to laser down that line.
15-all. $30-15.
2 hours and 18 minutes into this first round match. No one arriving here at center court expected this. Federer, with those misses, flirting with disaster. Continuing to build hope in his opponent.
$40-30.
This is a press announcement. Elena Baltacha will be in the main interview room at
Correction of fault. First serve. yelling out correction. Rare time the ball didn't go over the net. Federer holds, but it's Falla. Up a set, up a break. Let's swing back 7 years ago. First round, Leighton Hewitt, defending champion, center court. Ivo Karlovic. Dr. Evo introduces himself to the tennis world.
Absolutely. No one really knew Evo and came into this tournament without too much expectation. Hewitt, the #1 player in the world, defending champ, and he just served his way to victory.
Taking the final 3 sets to dismiss Leighton Hewitt. The only time that's happened at Wimbledon in the Open era, where the defending champions got out. Here are the other 4 major events where the reigning champion lost in the first round.
15 up.
It did happen one other time here at Wimbledon, but that was before the Open era. 69. It happened in 67 when Santana lost to Passerelle. Passerelle, interestingly, is in the Royal Box today. Maybe he knew something that we didn't. 30 love to Falla. Roger's mother and father also a front row seat in the Royal Box this afternoon. Played a little softball, then hoped he could whip a full force backhand, but really misfired. And an easy hold for Falla. 4-2. 2 games from this upset. Let's go to Pam Shriver.
Well, Dick, I've been looking all over this Henman Hill for a Swiss fan anywhere. And you know what? I can't find anyone. I saw one T-shirt walk by with the white cross of the Swiss flag. It was an English woman. I think they're all watching the soccer. And who would have thought that Roger Federer would have been in this kind of trouble? But meanwhile, this hill is really going to come alive tomorrow when Murray's scheduled to play. And, of course, on Thursday, the Queen's going to be here for the first time in 33 years. So I want to see it right here because that's going to be a great atmosphere. Let's go back inside and see how Federer does here.
All right. Thank you, Pam. That Swiss T-shirt, was there a person in it or just a T-shirt that walked by? The meanwhile, in South Africa, Swiss and Chile 0-0 in the first half.
Shot.
Lethal.
Nothing wrong with the Federer backhand cross court, but from well behind the baseline, takes all the spin off the ball, flattens it out, and threads the needle down the line. Beautiful tennis.
Meanwhile, we understand that in that Swiss-Chile match, Barami, one of the top Swiss players, has been red carded. So things not going well there either.
Just cracking that forehand, and Federer unable to run around it.
There's too much pace on that returner serve for Federer to get out of the way of that return.
Falla again 6 points from the match and an incredible upset. Sounded like a string.
What a point. I guess not.
Just a lot of frame in that forehand, Dick. That's too bad for Falla because that return of serve was a beautiful return. Had he snuck in behind that, he would have had a fairly easy volley. But again, Federer is having to come up with some great stuff to stay in this.
First sign of any outward emotion from Falla. He knew how close. No, that's too good.
Champions touch. 4-3 in the fourth. Falla in the lead.
And welcome back to Fame Center Court. You see the fans crowding now on the hill, watching on the big screen television outside center court and court one. That's actually court one. Alejandro Falla is on the line. 4-3. He leads in the fourth set, 2-1. And he is pushing the six-time Wimbledon champion with every stroke.
Got him.
Not enough on the volley, so a love 30 opening for Federer to break back.
Roger just hit that return short enough to really make Falla lunge forward, and it dropped below the height of the net. And a bit of a push on that forehand volley. Big chance for Federer. Wow. And again set up by a really gutsy second serve. He knows Federer wants to run around and hit a forehand. And he slides that a couple of inches inside the line and aggressive off the backhand. This has to be where the nerves start to kick in. He can probably feel the finish line.
Oh, a gift there.
30 all.
100-mile-an-hour serve. Once again, Falla 6 points from that finish line.
Break point, Federer.
One of 7 for the match thus far is Federer on break points.
Cheers.
Gets so much swinging action on that serve wide, and Federer tried to slice it back. Came up short. 4-3 deuce.
So many uncharacteristic errors from Roger Federer in the big moments. Oh, just shanking the ball all over the place.
Falla 5-3 lead, a game away from this stunning upset.
Well, if ever, so early in a championship match, a major event, that Federer in his great years has had to dig deep. This is it.
Thank you. $50 love.
Opens with his 16th ace and a service winner.
30-11.
Falla with the luxury, if you will, of knowing he can serve for the match.
If you're a Falla here as well, you just try to hang into this game, this service game. Don't give away any free points and see if you can force a little pressure on Federer's serve. Falla's not walking all that well back to the baseline to return serve here. He had to really stretch out to cover that forehand, and he has been treated a number of times for a groin injury. Surely he's got enough left in the take there, Dick.
5-4, Falla leading 2-1.
We'll get this brief rest. Think about what's at stake. The chance to knock out the almost unbeatable Roger Federer, especially on these Wimbledon lawns, will be on his racket when he comes back on court.
And he's played such good tennis at the big moments, Falla. Consistently getting that serve into the Federer backhand. And Federer has been going to the slice reply, and then he can control the points. So Roger has to do something different here to change it up. He's had a few chances, but on the big points, he's given away too many unforced errors. Either be a little more aggressive and attacking and get yourself into the net, or bring fire in. Hit that short ball inside the service line and bring fire in where he's a little uncomfortable. But toe-to-toe, this has been Falla's match. He's been the better player off the ground.
Well, this was supposed to be the appetizer, not the main course. And we still have much more. Andy Roddick tuning up. He'll be on court one for his opening round match against fellow American Ram. And Venus Williams, 5-time the champion here. She too scheduled today, as will the talented Belgian Justine Anna. Her countrywoman Kim Clijsters has already won her opening round match. And here we go. Alejandro Falla, 26 years old, from Colombia, serving to knock out the defending champion Roger Federer. Loses the first point here on center court. Falla, number 65 in the world, 2-1 and 5-4 here in the fourth against the man who's won more major titles than anyone in history, Roger Federer, on the ropes. Oh, there's a tight forehand. We haven't seen much of that.
That's a big sign for Federer, because now he knows that his opposition is really feeling the nerves. So maybe just keeping the ball in the court here and seeing if Falla can implode.
For those of you just joining us, this would be one of the greatest upsets in the history of this sport. Falla has been treated for a groin injury. But this is a man who has never won a tour event and entered Wimbledon with a 9-9 record this year against the 6-time Wimbledon champion.
Federer raising hope. A couple of break points.
15-14.
Packed out on Henman Hill. Thousands there.
15,000 privileged here at center court.
Falla races one break point.
30-14.
Biggest points of the biggest match of his life.
He's broken back. It's 5-all. Under pressure, Federer bringing his championship goods.
And these fans now with renewed hope. And one has to think if Federer can scrape out this set, that with his experience and the lack thereof of his opponent, he would be odds on to win it. But
we thought that in the third set as well when he came back at 4-all from love 40 in his service game. But it just looks like he has to have his back completely up against the wall before he tries anything different. And that drop shot in the previous game, he's got to go to that more often. That's a great play. Short slice ball, the variation in spin and pace, and get Falla off balance. Challenge there for Alejandro Falla.
if it's in, it's his 18th ace for Federer. And so it is.
15 all.
Alejandro's done a good job to put that disappointment of losing that service game behind him and just keep playing tennis, keep playing the same type of tennis that has got him into this position. It's been a strong performance mentally from Falla.
Federer has gotten very few of those easy points on the second serve. It's the play that Falla worked to earn the first two sets. Broke Federer at 5-all, broke Federer at 3-all in the second set. Here's a break point for Falla.
30-14.
It's the first time you've really seen Roger Federer look up towards his box with a real sign of frustration.
And now a second serve. Just missed.
Federer throws his head back there. I think he thought that Falla had made that. He's pretty much made every backhand he's had in the match so far.
That was for a 6-5 lead and another chance for Falla to serve out the match. There's no question that while fans everywhere love the underdog, they're rooting here for Federer.
Let's first. Advantage Federer.
Look at that. Falla will serve to stay in the fourth set when we come back. Falla serving for tiebreak 5-6. New balls. He had a break point in that last Federer game, could not convert as Federer keeps digging in.
About Roger Federer coming up with a little variation in his game because he's just not getting the better part of these baseline rallies. Well, here it is on that last point. A sick drop shot from behind the baseline. That ball is an inside-out drop shot. It hits the court and breaks to the left. Impossible to run that down.
A little slow reacting to that return, and one wonders how much Falla has left, not only physically but emotionally, mentally. The strain of being on top of the reigning champion, so close to victory, and seeing his opponent surging in this rally.
Needs to keep himself pumped up here. He's played an incredible match so far. Just a couple of points away from a tiebreaker. Cannot afford a small letdown.
Federer, meanwhile, 2 points from 2 sets all. First serve, not quite what it was earlier in the match. Missing a lot of firsts. Federer appeared to be in control of the point. There are thousands who had center court seats today that couldn't even pronounce this gentleman's name, much less know of his game. Tiebreak to decide the fourth set and perhaps this match.
I tell you what, Dick, you've got to take your hat off to this man, Andre Falla. After looking like possibly winning this match in straight sets, having those break points at 4-all in the third set, he drops that set. He serves for the match in the fourth set, keeps putting that disappointment behind him and playing some great tennis, the match of his life.
Federer leads off the breaker. He's 10-6 this year in tie breaks. Falla's 4-1.
Have a look at that.
Wall to wall, thousands outside court one up on Henman Hill. Intrigued by the action as well. There's that big forehand that he's used as a solid weapon most of the match. 1 point all. There you see the tiebreak records. And Falla, a bit surprised with a man 9-9 record that he's 4-1 in breakers. Wild there, and Federer has the mini break.
2-1 Federer. 3-1, Federer.
Just starting to play with a little more authority from the back of the court, and especially with that backhand down the line. Early parts of this match, every time he took it down the line, he wasn't really stepping into it, but now really letting go on that backhand side, and again off the forehand, taking all the spin off the forehand and going for it.
Forehand.
It's a slow walk to the change of ends for Falla, who really looks to be laboring at the moment. We saw him in that 5-4 game, Dick, when he walked to the change of ends, that he was walking really slowly, had to run down a couple of forehands, and the body looked like it was taking its toll. And right now, he looks like he's been playing about 8 hours. 2 hours and 50 minutes on court. I think also the emotional side of playing such a great match and having so many chances does wear you down physically as well.
To be so close. Now trailing 5-1 in this breaker.
Let's proceed.
Set points now for Federer to serve it out. One certainly would not be guilty if he takes it to a 5th set of thinking that Federer rally is inevitable.
It's Federer's shots that have sting here late in the match, not Falla's, who was out hitting Federer in the early set. To the 5th we go.
Welcome back to the championships, Wimbledon 2010.
Well, action happening all over the grounds today at the All England Club, but nothing happening like what's happening on center court. Roger Federer on the brink of going out in the opening round. He was in trouble in the 3rd set. He was in trouble again in the 4th. And for the moment, Federer has left the court. But when he comes back, he will play a 5th set. And have been very few times in his career that he's been forced to go the distance, certainly here at Wimbledon, especially where he's been so
dominant.
dominant.
Pit stop, you know, to start the 5th set. I thought after that 3rd set that Falla the leg maybe would give him some trouble, Fed would take over. But man, was I wrong. Boy, Falla came out firing at the start of the 4th set, got the early break. And I tell you, at 5-4, it looked like Falla was in great shape, but then he tightened up just a little bit. Fed did enough to just hang around. After he gets broken, I tell you, Falla will remember that next game at 5-all. He had a really good look at a backhand to break to serve forward again. But like in boxing, it's hard to put away the champ, and Fed has done enough to hang around. He hasn't played well, but he's hung in there.
Well, he's hung in there, and he's done that a few times in his career where he's come from 2 sets to love down. But I'll tell you, it's been a shaky performance from Federer so far. You go back to Peter Vessels, way back when Fed was a teenager, Sargsyan at the French. Nadal, that was that big final when Nadal was just starting to come into his own. He won that in 5 on hard courts, the Aussie Open, beating Berdych. And then remember that 2009 French Open where he beat Tommy Haas from 2 sets down and, of course, went on to win the French Open. But as you said earlier, Brad, when we came in between sets, got to give some other players some hope. But let's look to the 5th right now, because I think to your point, I certainly thought after the 3rd that Fed would roll through it. That didn't happen. Do you think that will happen now in the 5th?
Well, I expect him to come good here. You know, I didn't expect it to be so tight in that 4th. But one shot that's really struggled with Fed today is his second serve return. He's really struggled, and the backhand. He just hasn't had any consistency. I expect him now maybe to run around the backhand a little bit and take some more rips with the forehand. And you know what? If Falla's having any trouble with the leg, he's going to feel it. I know that, you know, both of us, when we played here, you play 5 sets, you get so sore on this court. But Falla has done a great job of hugging to the baseline. But I expect Fed to start opening up on his shots, maybe run around a little bit. But it's been that backhand all day that's really troubled Fed.
Continuing to trouble him here as he misses the opening point of the 5th set. We're going to show you this entire 5th set, everyone, live from Wimbledon, uninterrupted. So let's send you back inside to Dick Enberg and Darren Cahill. Dick?
All right. Thank you, Patrick. 15-all the score as we open this final set. And as you reflect not only on the chances for Falla in the 4th set, but the key was the 3rd set with Federer serving at 4-all, down love 40, and able to bail himself out of that trouble. In fact, 4 break points for Falla he couldn't convert. Had he been able to take a 5-4 lead, then would have served for a straight set win. Federer increasingly beating his opponent to the punch. First game so critical. Falla. No. 2 break points for Federer.
That's the play I like, Dick, from Federer. Bring your opponent into the net and give yourself a target.
And here's the early break.
Beautiful little variation there from Roger Federer, and if we take a look inside the point, just starting to get on top now, using the court much better. Some beautiful counter punching from Roger Federer. He's got to do a lot of work here. 1-step backhand cross court, unloading on that backhand. He's made a lot of backhand mistakes. In the big moments, he's come up with some beauties, holding his ground and staying on that forehand down the line. But when your opponent is starting to really feel it physically, then move your opponent around, especially bringing them forward, which is a much harder movement to make on grass.
Each man now with 3 breaks of service. But Federer now at 2 sets all with the early lead in the 5th. As we approach the 3-hour mark on court, first match on center court, as per tradition, the defending champion to play first. Actually, it's Federer's 7th consecutive traditional walk to play the first match, because last year Nadal was not here because of injury, and Federer, being the runner-up, played first up.
30-15.
19 aces to Falla's 8.
40-15.
His touch is exquisite, isn't it? But he's realized what exactly you were saying, Darren Cahill, about using that drop shot.
Yeah, Falla's just not moving forward very well at the moment, so it was a good idea, but too far behind the baseline to play that shot on that particular occasion.
And he
solidifies the early break and a 2-love lead here in the final set.
You can log on to Wimbledon.org for the latest championship scores, the news, and exclusive video. Wimbledon.org. Well, the buzz around the All England club certainly was. You better check the scoreboard. Roger Federer is down 2 sets. What?
Oh, well played from Falla. Not only does a great job to get up to the drop shot, but a little head fake there to get Federer moving the wrong way. It's a beautiful touch off the backhand. Watch this. Sets up for a cross court. Nice little head and wrist fake and plays it beautifully.
Left. 30 love.
Nikolai Davydenko down 2 sets to Kevin Anderson has come back to take a tie break in the 3rd, and they're 5-all in the 4th. You see the other scores rolling through. Top half of the men's draw.
It's also a big sign of a player being fatigued, is now Falla is really trying to flatten out that forehand. Whereas in the first few sets, he was very content to keep rolling that cross court short inside the service box and opening up the court to the Federer backhand. Now he's trying to finish the points much, much quicker. Not a bad play there, though. The sneaky serve volley. Got the volley he was looking for.
At one stage of the match, no room for error for Federer. Now it's Falla that needs to hold here. He's down a break. Love 2, 40-30. And a loose forehand.
Cheers.
From 40 love to deuce.
Left versus. Advantage Falla.
Falla's second serve has been so impressive today. And he served 2 double faults in the entire match, and he's hit that second serve very accurately.
That's wicked.
Cheers. Advantage Federer.
Deep behind the baseline, able to deliver that punch. No, they all add up, don't they, in boxing?
Absolutely.
You don't have to hit them hard to get a point.
Falla has showed a lot of character out here today. He's played some great tennis, but also emotionally, he's just not taking his foot off the gas. You can tell he's really starting to struggle physically, but keeps on fighting. One of the nicest guys you'll meet as well. Always smiling in the locker room. That's a great play, because if you are really feeling it physically, you're going to shorten the points. He's had some pretty good success when he's come forward.
Fourth deuce of this long game at love 2.
Advantage, Falla. Cheers. Advantage, Falla.
Seventh game point for Falla, trying to get on the board here in the final set.
Thank you.
I can certainly relate to what he's going through here at the moment as well. Back early in my career, I had John McEnroe 2 sets to love on this particular court, leading 2 sets to love, and just felt the weight of the more favored player coming back, and it drains you physically and emotionally, and you just tell his shoulders are starting to slump a little bit, and a lot of the belief is gone.
And that gives Federer his second break point.
They ended up losing that match 8-6 in the final set.
How long did it take you to recover from
Weeks. Long time. Great shot.
That was the dagger. Another break of service, and Roger Federer leads 3-love in the final set. Well, somewhere wedged on Henman Hill is Pam Shriver.
You know, Dick, where I'm standing right now, I couldn't have given this report about a set ago because I have never seen it so clogged on the usual walkway, and they were prohibiting us from standing in this area a little while ago, and then eventually they just gave up the end of the 4th set because the masses took over. It cleared out a little bit in the 5th set because I think most people felt that Federer was in control, as he's proving to be right now. But I can also tell you it's a lot hotter than what they predicted. And we know when you play on grass, the humidity, and it just seems like the conditions are muggy, and I think it's taken a lot out of particularly Falla and Killer. You commented about the nerves of being in a tight match against the best player of all time and how it just drains you. That combined with the length of this match and the temperature. But he's given it its all. This crowd has had a true bonus. They thought this match was just going to be a cakewalk, and it's really added so much drama and atmosphere to day one, so it's been tremendous. Dick?
Oh, and Pam, with so much more left after this opener, we've got Andy Roddick on court, Justine Enna, Venus Williams, 5-time champion here. That's all yet ahead here in our opening day coverage of Wimbledon 2010. Well, Darren Cahill, as you watch Roger Federer now for the first time with a comfortable lead in the entire match, 3-love, you have to reflect on Falla's moment to even should he go on to lose. This is one of those matches at 26 where you come away a winner. It's hard to convince a man after he's gone through the travails of being so close. But for his country and for fans, they realize the kind of game he has and what he brought to center court today.
No question. Oh, he's starting to open up now is Federer. Even though Falla's still being aggressive on those second serves, he's found his timing on the backhand side, has Federer.
And the question as he holds that love for a 4-love lead here in the final set is, what does this do for Roger Federer, positive or negative?
Well, I think you have to take the positives out of it. This has been a great wake-up call for him, and he's had to find a way to win a tennis match when he hasn't played his best tennis, and far from it. Give a lot of credit to the type of game plan that Falla's played. You also give a lot of credit to Federer just hanging in while he's struggling to find his game and making his opponent play one more shot. And being smart enough to know, just keep the ball in play when it gets to those tight situations, because the nerves have to kick in for your opponent.
The fact that in his career he's been able to manage 5 comebacks from 2 sets down has to play in his favor.
Yep.
Oh, down he goes. First knockdown we've had at center court today. Fortunately,
15 all.
nothing physically wrong with Federer.
It's also the reason why this guy is just so tough to beat over a best-of-5 match. You can probably knock him out in best-of-3, but it's why he had that great 23 semi-finals in major tournament streak going. Completely different proposition to beat Roger Federer over 5 sets.
Yeah, ask Andy Roddick, 16-14 in the 5th. Roddick set a record here at Wimbledon for winning the most games and yet lost the match. Oh, goodness. Federer just
30-40.
fighting to get the ball back on the other side of the net, and then the error from Falla, another break point.
Let's pursuit. Game.
Well, as they take this respite here before going out on court again with Federer total command at 5-love, the Colombian must be wondering, and will, what might have been, whereas his opponent, it's what he is.
Exactly, and Roger will take away from this match that he survived. He survived on a day where he struggled, struggled with his game, struggled to get himself up. Even early in the second set, when he lost that opening set, you saw him give a couple of come-ons, a few fist pumps, and just emotionally, it's been a tough day for him as well. And give Federer full credit for hanging in and finding a way. And take nothing away from Alejandro Falla, because tactically he played a beautiful match. He came out here, he was extremely aggressive on the second serve returns. He's got a lot of those returns back in play and got ahead in the points. He's used his forehand effectively. He snuck into net on a lot of the big points. Played a very smart tennis match.
Now, Falla, 20 years from now, if he wants to bring a smile to his own face, all he has to do is put in the tape and watch the first 2 sets of this match. All the beautiful shot making he produced. So Federer, the champion, to serve it out. Champions get off the canvas and deliver the knockout punch. They rally in the 4th period in basketball and score the impossible points to win. They throw the 90-yard touchdown bomb in the final minute. They find a way. Score in the bottom of the 9th. Now he's playing.
This is also an area of Roger's game that he doesn't get enough credit for, and that's his fitness, his ability to play long matches. And he did most of the running in the first 4 sets.
Oh, come on. And then you see him play like this, obviously against an exhausted, maybe even wounded opponent. Just such impeccable tennis. And now 2 match points. Final moment for Falla. Very mindful of how he hit so many winners off that backhand wing in the first 2 sets. Another match point. And with a winning forehand, Federer has survived.
5-7, 4-6, 6-4, 7-6, 6-love.
Standing ovation for Federer.
You know what, I just get the feeling that Roger Federer, looking at that handshake and the way he patted Alejandro on the back, that he feels a little bit sorry for Alejandro, because he played the match of his life and was probably the better player for 4 sets.
We're going to stay here because the fans want to applaud Falla off the court as well. They're cheering him now along with Federer. So knowledgeable, the British tennis audience, and they send both men off with a rousing standing ovation. That's why they're champions. They're so tough to beat.
I really enjoyed that match, Dick. A great way to start the 2010 championships. Federer going through to the second round.
Who's that?
He's through to the Serbian. Bosniak is through to the second round. A big hitting Serbian player. And the seed down there, Tommy Robredo, number 30 seed. As we said at the start of the show, that's a pretty gentle opening for Roger Federer. We didn't expect that he'd be playing 5 sets against Alejandro Falla in the opening round, but Federer survives, and that's all you wish to do in the opening week. You don't win a slam in the opening week, you can only lose it.
Yeah, that's exactly all the words that he's used himself, isn't it? Yeah. Well, Gary Richardson of the BBC is trying to locate Roger Federer, and apparently he's gotten the job done. Let's hear what the champ has to say.
Many congratulations on your comeback. What was going on out there today?
Well, I thought I had a few chances early on in the first set. He came up with some good shots, and after that I struggled really. I mean, he played really good. He was able to neutralize me from the baseline, and he always had sort of one good return game in each set, and that put me under a lot of pressure. I definitely got very lucky today out there. I've lost many matches this year that I should have won. This one is the one I should have lost, but I came through. That's sometimes how grass court tennis works, so it's a tough loss for him. It's amazing for me because I thought he played incredible.
What were you thinking when you were behind? Because that just doesn't happen with you here. What were you feeling? Because you were on your way out of the tournament.
Well, I haven't been back behind 2-0, I think, in 6 years in the first round of a Grand Slam. So obviously it comes a bit of a shock, and it's not something I'm that prepared for because I haven't faced it in so long. But you kind of draw from your experience and from your physical strength and hope it pushes you through. It did today, so live another day. We'll see where it goes next time.
Yeah. So in a way, are you saying it gives you a bit of a kick up the backside?
Not really. I mean, at the end, he played great, you know, and he was the one who put me in that kind of a score. It's not that I only played unforced errors and that I didn't play well at all. I thought I was actually playing decent the first 3, 4, 5 sets, actually the whole match, and he came up with a good shot, so credit to him.
Yeah, so I mean, he just played at that bit higher level and you were slightly down. That was the reason. It's not that you've got a slight injury, it's not that you're not well, nothing at all.
I'm perfect.
Yeah. Okay, well,
you.
It was a great win. I'll tell you what, I know you've been interested in the football. If you just have a look over there, we've got a television.
Okay, good.
And they're doing okay.
Yeah,
So far, so
0-0.
good. Well,
We have the last 20 minutes left. This is when we score.
is it?
I'm kidding. We'll see.
Well done. Thank you very much. See you in the next round.
Well, Roger Federer waited until the last 20 minutes of his match to get under control. And, of course, talking about the Swiss and their hopes in the World Cup. But Federer wins his 200th career Grand Slam match. And none of us thought that it would take well over 3 hours against the Colombian Alejandro Falla. Patrick McEnroe back inside alongside
I'm in a
BG.
sweat just watching that match.
Well, he was in a sweat.
He doesn't even sweat, the guy. It's unbelievable. A little bit today.
He actually looked like he was huffing and puffing even during the interview. So
yeah, there's no question. I don't think he was prepared for being out there that long. And I tell you, Falla did an unbelievable job of taking the match to Federer, and he was playing so close to the baseline. I tell you, the guy will have some nightmares, Falla, with the chances that he had in this match. He could have won it in straight sets. He could have won it in 4 sets. But I tell you what, Fed did enough to hang around. And, boy, he had champion's fortitude today.
No, he showed it, and he needed every ounce of it. And go back to that third set, Brad. 2 sets to love for Falla, 4 all in the third. And this is where Federer was in a deep hole and Love 40 down, was able to save 4 break points.
And Falla does the right thing. He comes in. He didn't quite get enough on this backhand, but he makes Fed hit the shot, and twice he made him hit a backhand passing shot, and Fed comes up with it.
And this is 5 all in the 4th set, Brad, and this is a backhand that you think that Falla would like to have back. That one right there.
And Falla's shot is the backhand cross court, and he didn't go for his shot, and he'll remember that one. And I tell you what, I have never seen, Patrick, Fed slip as many times as he did today. He went down today more than I saw him in the last 7 years combined. And I tell you what, I know Fed doesn't get sore, but he's going to wake up tomorrow incredibly sore.
Well, you can see that elite group there. Connors, Agassi, Lendl, Sampras, and now Roger Federer with 200 wins in a major. And, of course, the other nugget for Federer that he's trying to accomplish is title number 7 here. Only Pete Sampras in the modern era able to win that many Wimbledon titles. But I'll tell you, what a gutsy performance. Dick and Darren, you guys got to see the whole thing, ball to ball, point after point. But he had to show a lot of guile and a lot of determination to get through this one, guys.
And I thought it was interesting in his interview that a man from a country known for its neutrality said that he was neutralized by his opponent. I think that was the highest compliment he paid Falla.
No, he played him a very high compliment. We saw at the end of the match the tap on the back a couple of times, and he knows he got lucky today to get out of that one and to survive through to the second round because Falla played the match of his life. Obviously, Roger struggled, but Falla had to execute a real strong game plan, and he did it for 4 sets.
How about some are going to say that after the injury, whatever that injury might have been, he didn't look as if he was moving that well in the 4th set.
No, we saw it at 5-4 in the 4th set when he had to run down a couple of forehands. Then he had to go over and serve for the match, and he just looked to be laboring a little bit. Obviously, physically, he was struggling the whole match, bringing the trainer out, but really in the 5th set, we could see those highlights there in the 3rd set, how quickly Falla was moving around the court, and then in the 5th set, all the speed went out of his game. So it was unfortunate for Falla, but as we we've said, Roger does not get enough credit for his fitness and his ability to run out 5 sets.
Well, champions know what that means to race that trophy. He still has an appetite for more. That's obvious.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, it's quite a start. If that's any indication of what we have ahead here at this fortnight of Wimbledon, it is going to be something special.
Well done, guys. Great call up there, and certainly plenty more to come and plenty going on around the grounds as Roger Federer managing to escape here in 5 sets over the Colombian Alejandro Falla. A bagel in the 5th set, but the first 4 are very difficult. Davydenko, he's on court now. We'll pick that match up in the 5th set. And Roddick and Venus coming up. We're live in London.